Technique number 2 of our 7-step program is called emotional understanding, emotional awareness. This technique is based on our Wheel of Strengths, and it focuses on the personality or midos section. This is an emotional technique, an emotional awareness technique of how to become aware of your emotional self and becoming aware of your ruach, your emotional awareness, and connecting with Hashem and connecting with yourself on an emotional ruach level. We live in the ruach. We have a guf, a ruach, and a neshama, a body, an emotional self, a heart self, a feeling self, and an intellectual or mind self. We live on the ruach. I am happy, sad, motivated, frustrated, depressed, angry. That's where we live. When I am peaked in my emotions, I can react by going down into gravity and going down into my body self and say, like a mountain goat, oh yeah, really? You hurt my feelings? Let's fight about it. Or I'm angry at you. And I allow gravity to drag me down from my ruach, from my heart, down into my limbs, my body, my ivarim, and I actualize my feelings by acting on them through my guf. That's allowing gravity to pull me down into my animal side, my animal self, and act with anger, with insult, with response, with retort. I get back on the person because I'm feeling hurt. My emotions are peaked, my emotions are activated, and my natural self is, I'm dragged down into my body self and I respond with negativity, just like 2 mountain goats on the mountains of Ein Gedi. The alternative is, if I'm aware that my emotions are being activated, I can go against gravity and reach my intellect, reach the part of me which is domelo, which is like Hashem, and say, that's hurting my feelings. Or, I'm not happy about that. When you use an I message, not an I message, but an I message, I am feeling sad by that. I am feeling hurt by that. I am feeling frustrated. I am feeling distant from you. I'm feeling upset. Instead of using a you message, you are mean, you are insensitive, you are uncaring, you are hurtful. If you say you, them's fighting words, because you're putting the other person on the defensive. They have no choice but to defend themselves and say, yeah, but you did this to me 16 years ago. But if you say, I am feeling sad, I am feeling distant, the other person will likely say to you, oh, I'm sorry you're feeling that way. How can I help you? This is a way to remove the feeling of emotional pain, and instead of going down into the body by fighting with somebody, fighting with your spouse or child, just say, I am feeling hurt. I am feeling, and you're using from here, against gravity, using your godly self, using your intellect, using your part which is domelo, using your highest self, and accessing your higher self and saying, I am feeling upset. And the other person will likely not ratch up into a resonating argument, an escalating argument. You know, we start off with difficulties. I tell you a story about the soup bowl. The soup bowl argument I had with my wife. See, my wife comes from Memphis, Tennessee. In Memphis, Tennessee, as I mentioned earlier, everything is pretty laid back, pretty relaxed down in Memphis, Tennessee. So in Memphis, Tennessee, they serve soup by taking the soup bowl and putting it right on the table. Now, I come from Montreal, Canada. Montreal, Canada is a former colony of England. I used to live in England. I was a Rav in London, England for 9 years. Montreal, Canada, a former colony of England. In England, as in Canada, we do things much more formally, much more dignified, much more proper, if you will. We take the soup bowl, we place it on a plate, and then we place it on the table. So my wife was being her Memphis self, down to earth, mighty fine, Southern belle, and she was serving soup with our guests right on the table, just like that. So I was about to say to her, Julie, you know, it would be probably a little more dignified if you put the soup bowl on a plate and then serve it to our guests. And I imagine what she would say to me. She would have said to me, are you saying to me, we've been married here for 29 years and you don't trust the way I'm serving our guests? I would have said, it's not that I don't trust the way you're serving our guests, just that I feel that the way I was brought up, that it's more dignified and more formal to put the soup on a soup plate and then serve it to the guests. To which she would have said, do you mean that I'm not dignified? I mean, I don't know how to serve guests? No, darling, I didn't say you're not dignified. I just said that down in Memphis, things are much more laid back, and in Canada, we know how to do things a little more formally or properly. She would have said to me, you mean you know how to do things properly, but I don't know how to do things properly? No, I didn't say you don't know how to do things properly. I just meant that I do things in a little more dignified. You mean I'm not a dignified hostess? I mean, I've been serving guests in our home and I'm running our home for 29 years, and you feel that I am not a dignified person? I didn't say you're not dignified, dear. It's just that there are certain ways of doing things in the right way. I mean, I'm not doing things the right way, and you're the only one who has the truth, and you know how to do things right, and I know how to do things wrong? I didn't say right and wrong. It's not a matter of right and wrong. It's a matter of personal preference. And I prefer if it would be done this way because it's much more, I'd say, respectful to our guests, that they're serving them on a plate. Do you mean to tell me that I'm not a respectful person? No, I didn't say that, dear. Do you see where this is going? So I was roa es hanolad. I imagine what would happen in this kind of conversation by me criticizing and saying, you are not serving the right way. You are not serving soup in a more formal way. You are not really being dignified and respectful to our guests. And I stopped my dialogue and I said to my wife, dear, this soup is delicious. Thank you. She said, why, thank you, dear. And that was the end of that argument. I stopped it before it started. Because instead of using a you statement, I used an I statement. I love your soup. Terrific. And I was roya es hanolad because I did not want to get into this argument by saying you and by saying that I have monopoly on the truth and you don't. And this way we can, even though my emotions were hurt, because I felt that I was perhaps not being a dignified host, and my wife was not being a dignified host, but I swallowed it. And I said, I have self-esteem. I'm okay. I've got a wheel of strengths. You see, if I don't have a sense of self, if I don't feel good about myself, and I feel that I am being looked upon negatively by my guests because I don't know how to serve soup, my wife doesn't know how to serve soup, then I'll get into a problem. Because I'll criticize my wife and I'll say, you don't know how to serve soup. Why? Because I don't have self-esteem. If I don't have self-esteem, I'm going to project that onto other people and say they probably also see me as a person who doesn't know how to serve soup. And I'm not a dignified person. And that gets me into a problem with my wife. So here, low self-esteem is not just my own problem. It becomes my wife's problem because I make it into her problem. Because I criticize her because I have low self-esteem. And the Gemara says, Haba lifsol b'mumo posel. If I come to put down somebody else, to puzzle up somebody else, I'm really reflecting my own inadequacy. I don't feel good about myself, so I say to my wife, you don't know how to serve soup. This is how low self-esteem gets into and seeps into our relationships. Because if I feel badly about myself, if I don't feel shalom, whole with myself, if I don't have a good self-concept, and I see something which is perhaps perceived by others to be negative, then I'm going to criticize my wife and get into an argument, and it'll turn into a major argument. It starts off with soup, ends up with, and you never are there for me, and you never did this for me, and 16 years ago. You know those arguments where it start off with soup and they end up with a major argument? How did we get here? It all comes from low self-esteem. Low self-esteem and fixing low self-esteem is the antidote to marriage issues. If you feel good about yourself, you feel shalom with yourself, you say, I've got intellect, I've got social skills, I'm a good person, I interact well, I'm a kind person, I have spirituality, my Shabbos table, and I have a good family, and I can grow as a person, then when my wife does something which I think is incorrect, I can say, it's not a reflection on me, I feel good about myself, this soup is delicious, dear. But if I don't have good self-esteem, my emotions are feeling squashed. I'm feeling negatived. I'm feeling less than, not good enough. And other people may look at me negatively. Then what am I going to do? I'm going to criticize my wife because of it. That's my responsibility. It's my responsibility, my avoda, in my marriage with my wife, to build up my own self-esteem so I don't become a critical person. And I believe that 99% of marriage problems are caused by low self-esteem, by feeling like I am not good enough, and I project that, just like the Meraglim, project that onto my spouse and say, you're not good enough. But really, if I'm puzzling up my wife, it's because I am puzzling myself. I don't see myself as a valid individual. And therefore, my way to repair my marriage is fix up my self-esteem. Now, how do I do this emotionally? If my emotions are being hurt and in pain, how do I emotionally calm myself? Here is technique number 2. I want you to learn how to breathe. Breathing is like this. It's not breathing like, rather, we have to involve ourselves in diaphragmic breathing, which means you breathe from here. It's body breathing. You breathe from the deep part of your stomach and your chest. Hold it for 5 seconds and breathe out for 5 seconds. Again, breathe in for 5. Breathe out for 5. Again, breathe in for 5. Breathe out for 5. Slow down your metabolism. We're very, very, very fast-paced. We're intense. We're rushing around, as you said before. We have an obligation to slow ourselves down. How? By breathing. Neshima, a breath, acts as the neshama. The neshama is the same word as neshima. I breathe in, I access my soul. Relax. Now I want you to relax the muscles of your neck. Breathe in like this, and I want you to tense up your fist. So breathe in, go. Tense up your fist, hold it, and now let go of your fist for 5 seconds. Go like this. Relax your fist. So you tense up your fist on the in-breath, and the exhale, you relax your fist. Do the same thing with your neck. Breathe in for 5 seconds and breathe tension in the back of your neck like this. Hold it, and you breathe out and relax the tension in your neck. Unravel the muscle tension in your neck. Now your middle back. Breathe in for 5. Hold it. Breathe out for 5. Breathe out the tension in your back. Now your neck and back, breathe it in at one time and tense up your neck and back at one go. Hold it. And breathe out and relieve the tension in your neck and back. Now breathe in the tension in your jaw. Hold it. And breathe out for 5. Relax your jaw. Move it around. Relax. Breathe in the tension in your cheeks. Hold it. Let it go. Now your eyes. Breathe in tension in your eyes. Hold it for 2. Let it go for 5. And now breathe in the tension in your brain, like this. Scrunch up your brain. Hold it, scrunch it up, tense it up, hold it, now let it go. Let go of the muscle tension in your brain. Open up your mind. Let go of your thoughts. That's the key. Let go of your thoughts. Breathe in for 5 again. Tense up your brain. Scrunch it up. Hold it for 2. And let go of your thoughts. Let your thoughts float away. Liberate your mind. Liberate your brain. Free your brain from thoughts. Just be. Don't think. Don't do. Just be. Breathe in for 5 and say the following thing. Breathe in. And on the out breath say, I am. Again, breathe in for 5. Tense up your brain, hold it. And now say, I am. On the count of 3, I want you to breathe in. I want you to double the feeling of relaxation. Breathe in for 3. Hold it. 1, 2, 3. Let go and double the feeling of relaxation. Feel a wave of relaxation flowing through you, a wave of water flowing through you. This is a relaxation technique. It's not hypnosis. It's merely relaxation. It allows you to leave your mind tension, leave your anxieties, and move to your sense of wholeness, wholesomeness, shlemus, calm inner self. Now breathe in for 5. And I want you to go to a beautiful place and breathe out. Go to the most beautiful place you've been to in your life. Imagine the most beautiful setting, the most beautiful scene, the most beautiful landscape. And I don't want it to be a religious place. I don't want it to be the Kosel. I want it to be a place in nature where you felt uplifted, inspired, expansive, open, tranquil, serene, uplifted, liberated, free. Find a place. Where have you been? Is it the Alps, Niagara Falls, Miami Beach, an orchard, Italy, mountains, a lake, canoeing on a river? What's your favorite place? Or, what's your best accomplishment? If you can't find a place you go to, then remember a beautiful accomplishment you accomplished in your life. Go to that moment, go to that experience, a birth of a child, where you overcame particular difficulty, where you graduated, where you accomplished a great thing, you got married, you didn't say something that you might otherwise have said and got into an argument, you overcame a difficulty, you overcame an obstacle, you developed a relationship, you built something. Go to a great accomplishment you had. Now go there and experience that beautiful place or that beautiful accomplishment. Go there in your mind. I want you to play a video of it in your mind. Tell me what you see. See the colors. Hear the sounds. Experience the warmth of the sun in that place. Experience what you experienced when you accomplished that great thing. You felt it in your being, in your psyche, in your emotional self. How did you feel in that place? Tell me how you felt. Did you feel accomplished, free, liberated, calm, peaceful, serene, elevated, inspired, connected? How did you feel? You can go to this place emotionally 5 times a day, 10 times a day, for 10 seconds, 20 seconds, 30 seconds. It'll ground you. It'll center you. It'll make you feel like you have a city of refuge. It's an ir miklat, a city of refuge you can go to every day emotionally, to go to this place and feel and experience a sense of inner calm, inner serenity, inner peace, inner calm. Now let's go deeper. This beautiful place or beautiful accomplishment is something you experience because it makes you feel connected to this world. You feel like you belong in this world. You feel connected to God's world. You feel like you're safe. You belong here. Belong in this beach, in this waterfall, in this mountain. You feel like you're connected to this world. You feel shalem and whole. Or this accomplishment that you accomplished. You felt like, I belong here. I did it. I have a place in this world. The deeper reason why you have a place in this world is because your neshama, your soul, is intuiting itself in this place. Your deeper self, your true emotional self, your soul state, your soul self, is experiencing itself in the mountain, in the waterfall, in the orchard, or in this accomplishment. So when you see this beautiful place, you feel whole. It's because your soul is feeling connected to this world. And the real reason why your soul is feeling connected is because we go back to our wheel of strengths under personality. Because this beautiful place or accomplishment represents your experience of your deepest self. You feel connected to this world because you're connected to God's world with your highest attribute. Either it's Hashem, consistency, Kale, power, leadership, charisma, self-control, strength, Rachum, compassion, Chanun, empathy and sensitivity and nurturing, Erech Apayim, patience, laid back, relaxed, Rav Chesed, giving, Emes, honesty, integrity, Notzer Chesed, creativity, or Nosei Avon V'Fesha V'Chata'a, forgiving. When you're in this beautiful place or this beautiful experience and you're experiencing it, you're experiencing this place, you're experiencing your highest self, your highest godly self. So you go to this place, you ground yourself, you center yourself. The real reason why you're feeling liberated is because you're connecting to Hashem. You're connecting to the godliness within yourself. Your neshama sees in the Alps its sense of self. The Alps represents strength, let's say. The mountain, strength. So you're seeing your own emes, or your kale, your power, in that mountain. If your beautiful place is a flowing water, or a waterfall, or a river, or a beach, that's a flowing self. That refers to your chesed, your chen, your creativity, your warmth, your empathy. So I believe there's a correlation between the type of experience, the place that you go to, or the experience that you had with whether it's a strong will or a sensitive place, with your midah. There are male midos and there are female midos. The male midos are rachum, chanun, giving, because Avraham was the midah of chesed. So the male midos, counterintuitively, we think the male midos are strong or tough. That's not true. The male midos are rachum, chanun, erech apayim, Rav Chesed, and creativity. The female midos are Hashem, Kale, Emes, strong midos. Why? Avram was the one who wanted to keep Yishmael and Hagar in his home. Sarah said, Gvura, no. Yitzchak wanted to give the brachas to Esav because he wanted him to do tshuva. He had compassion on him. He wanted him to do tshuva. He believed he could do tshuva. Rivka said, no. The wife, the woman, the nekeva, is the one who sets gvulim, borders, boundaries, limits. She says no. She is the one who walks around the groom 7 times, the chassan 7 times under the chuppah. She sets the boundaries of the home. He wants to have an open home, open on 4 sides, the home of Avram Avinu, a tent open on 4 sides. He'll give away the shirt off his back. But the wife says, no. He wants to have guests for Shabbos. She says, no, we need to have our family, only our family tonight. But I want to have guests. No, our family needs boundaries. Our family needs family time right now. It's the wife who sets the boundaries of the family. She is the gibor. She is the gevura. The male is the chesed. So the chesed attributes and the female attributes together make up the zachar v'nekeva bara osam, the totality of the human being. We all have within ourselves male and female attributes. But what are my attributes? And we each have to have a male and a female side. Each of us, whether we're male, we have to have a male and female side, and a female has to have a male and female side within ourselves. But the dimension of these midos, to make up the totality of who we are, represent that soul state, that neshama state, that beautiful place you go to. If it's a strong place, represents your strength, your strong will. And if it's a flowing water place, a waterfall, then it's your male, rachamim, flowing, chesed, creative self. And I want you to go there. Go there in your mind. Play a video of that 3 or 4 times a day, 5 times a day. I do it during Shemona Esrei. I do this. I take 3 steps back, 3 steps forward. I say, Hashem svasai titach v'fi kilasech. I stop, and I go to my beautiful place. My place is Ein Gedi, the waterfall. I go to Ein Gedi. Ein Gedi is me. I superimpose my body onto Ein Gedi, and I see myself as strong, the water, powerful water, And then there's some soft water flowing down by the rocks. And there's a creative aspect to that. I see myself, my three midos of creativity, of strength, kale, and of chen, of empathy for other people. I see myself in that waterfall. I am the waterfall. And I see myself in the waterfall that I understand that those are my midos tovos that Hashem gave me. I'm aware of them. I emotionally experience them. And then I bring them down from Hashem. Baruch, I bring down my chesed, my chen, my creativity, my kale from Hashem. Ato, you gave them to me. Hashem, allow me to serve you with them today. So I emotionally feel connected to Hashem by going to my emotional soul state. And I go there 3 times a day, Shachris, Mincha, and Marav, and I go there during the day when I'm stressed. This needs to be practiced when you are not stressed. Shachris, Mincha, and Marav, you want to connect with Hashem from your highest midah, to remind yourself who you are. I am connecting with my source, my makor habracha, from my berech, my humility. I bring down my soul state. I bring down my sense of self. I acknowledge it comes from Hashem. Humility. Hashem, let me serve you with that today. This is called neshama state. This is accessing my sense of self from an emotional perspective. This is accessing it through a cognitive perspective. The wheel of strengths is cognitive. My mind, my awareness of my mental state is aware of my strengths. The second technique we're into right now is the neshama state, the emotional connection with Hashem from my emotional perspective. And this is connecting God with Hashem emotionally. And I have to be aware of my emotional self. My emotional self accesses my higher self through my midos tovos, my personality or my character. And that way I can get into my connection with Hashem through my midos, through my emotional self. I access it by going to an emotional, beautiful place which I felt emotionally satisfied, emotionally calm, emotionally uplifted. By visualizing an image, it's called guided imagery, visualizing that beautiful place, going there, experience it, and then bring that into my tefillah, bring that into a spiritual experience, a tefillah where I experience Hashem's presence in my life, in myself, in my being, emotionally feeling close to Hashem, because that's who I am. When I experience that midah tova within myself, by accessing my emotional place, my Engedi self, and realizing my Engedi self is my creative, chen, and kale, powerful self, powerful water, and I bring it down, I feel it, I experience myself emotionally. I acknowledge it comes from Hashem, and I give it back to Him. Then I'm connecting with Hashem on an emotional level. It's a spiritual level, psychological level, but it's beyond the intellect, beyond the cognitive. Many of us do not feel uplifted during tefillah because it's a cognitive, mental, mind experience. I don't feel it. This is a way to get into tefillah and get into an emotional self, an awareness of self on a higher level by emotionally connecting with Hashem from my soul state. I call it neshama state. You're aware of your godliness, your Hashemness by experiencing it, and you go there every day during tefillah. You experience an emotional closeness to Hashem by being aware that that's my midah tova. And that is a way in which we can emotionally connect and become aware of our emotional self. And that's the second aspect of self-esteem.